Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of For the Health of It. Today I really wanted to talk about gut health and fermentation and why it's important and why you should care. I have my friend Melanie here with me today.
Hi.
Who is the expert ferminator, is like I call her.
The ferminator!
She always has like potions and stuff I feel like growing in her kitchen. She's amazing. So I wanted to bring her in today to talk about fermentation with you guys.
Hi. So a little bit about myself. I am not a microbiologist. I am not a food scientist, but I am sort of a self-taught expert. I'm really passionate about this. I've been doing it for years. I research it in my spare time.
Many people don't know that we actually have 100 trillion different bacteria in and on our body, which may sound kind of scary because when you think about bacteria in general, you think diseases and stuff that can kill you, but it's not all bad. We have a lot of really good bacteria that serves an amazing purpose in our body. Microbiome is actually just a word for the collection of all of the microorganisms that live in the body. More specifically, we're just talking about all the bacteria environment that lives in your body, essentially in your gut.
Yeah, you can kind of think of it as like a little snow globe you carry with you at all times down here. And it's like its own little world where you have the good, the bad, everything. All your flora is in there. It's like a self-contained little ecosystem.
She's an expert on actual fermentation. Well, we say expert, is self-imposed expert. So yes. She's my expert. Okay.
I got some knowledge up my sleeve. Let's define what fermentation is. Fermentation is the breakdown of a substance by microorganisms that produces beneficial bacteria and nutrients. It also has some byproducts: lactic acid, acetic acid, which we know commonly as vinegar, CO2, carbon dioxide, the bubbles, and alcohol.
Yes. Okay. Well, we love alcohol, so
we do. Just get loose.
So I want to talk more about why we should care about our gut health. The gut is actually oftentimes referred to as our second brain. Part of the reason why this is that 90% of our serotonin is actually made in the gut.
Which is crazy because you hear so much about like everything's up here, it's all in the brain, and you actually have this direct line from the brain to the gut.
Studies are coming out right now about mental health and depression and anxiety and how it's all actually related to our microbiome and what we have going on in our gut.
There's like a big link between your balance of flora and like happy bacteria in your gut, and if you're out of whack here, you're probably going to be out of whack here. It's a direct connection.
I actually have read a bunch of studies that people that started taking probiotics when they had anxiety or depression, it really helped a lot.
Yeah, because you're just getting everything in line again.
Another amazing benefit of probiotics is improvement of digestion. So when you actually balance out your gut bacteria and you have kind of a healthier, I guess, flora down there, environment, your body is actually able to absorb your nutrients better.
You're basically setting the stage for your body to maximize all those like healthy nutrients, vitamins, minerals. You can just suck it all up.
Another amazing benefit actually is maintaining a healthier weight. There have been tons of studies recently where they have actually taken obese mice and they've taken their gut flora and they've interjected them into sterile mice. And what happens is they gain a ton of weight very, very quickly. As they study the microbiome of obese people versus lean people, they actually have a different kind of bacteria in their gut.
Right. There's an entirely different balance of the good versus bad bacteria. And it's something that we didn't know until basically the last couple years.
Yeah, very recently. Our issues with obesity are not all connected to just our food. A lot of it too is connected to our gut. You can actually change it with your diet too.
Right,
but
you can get things back in line when you've been out of whack, no matter what weight you are, no matter what you've been up to. It's actually really empowering.
It's very
because
empowering.
A lot of times when we're not feeling good about our health or our bodies or what have you, we're just feeling out of balance, you're on a microbial level.
Absolutely.
Like empowered to make a difference and start turning the tables, like moving towards better health.
Another one I want to touch on actually is disease. Another really interesting thing about the gut is 70 to 80% of our immune system is actually in our gut. So when you have a healthy environment of good bacteria down there, it actually enhances your immune system.
You can really take charge of your health that way, and you can prevent a lot of things. But if you're strong with your like probiotic fermentation game, you're actually going to save yourself a lot of heartache later.
Exactly. It's so cool.
So something else that is massively fascinating to me is your microbiome plays a hugely important role in genetic expression.
Depending on what microbes you actually have in your gut can determine what genes are turned on and off. Pretty cool. Now that we have covered, the importance of gut health and why you should care and what it is, I kind of just want to touch briefly on how your gut bacteria can kind of get off balance. So one of the main issues that we have is overuse of antibiotics. I want to preface this by saying that I am not against antibiotics at all. We fully support antibiotics and there's definitely a need for them. We should be more mindful about when we take antibiotics.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place that we need to take them when you have a serious bacterial infection. But for example, if you have a cold is actually a virus and antibiotics are only going to attack the bacteria.
That's it.
Taking antibiotics for a cold, all you're going to do is just completely wipe out your entire gut flora, the good and the bad bacteria, and you're not even going to address the cold at all.
Which is why it's so great if you are on a course of antibiotics. The whole time you can be taking, probiotic shots, up your sauerkraut, eat some kimchi, do everything you can to balance it out, because that's ultimately going to give you strong immunity and powerful health in the future and help get you back on track after the antibiotics.
Yeah, which is awesome. So another issue that we have is our overconsumption of sugar. High fructose corn syrup in general can really mess with the gut flora. Processed foods are linked to lowering our microbiota. Certain medications as well.
Yeah.
To touch back on the antibiotics, conventionally farmed, factory farmed meat is also another concern, because we actually use more antibiotics here in the US on our livestock than we use on humans.
And we already use a lot on humans.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear. So put that in perspective.
It's pretty wild. So I would recommend that you eat organic meat for a whole multitude of other reasons, but one being to avoid added antibiotics because they'll mess with your gut flora. And then the last one actually is there's a lot of studies coming out right now about our pesticide usage and how the pesticides are actually completely disrupting our gut flora as well. And a lot of that too goes into genetically modified organisms.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but GMOs, we are forced to use way more pesticides than we would with just standard organic food, and it's messing up our gut flora amongst a whole slew of other issues.
And at the very least, we're big proponents of organic food in general anyway, because not only is it great for your health, it's very good for the environment, it's good for the planet.
It's for the health of it.
For the health of it.